This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And, planning a trip to Disney World is never easy. There's so much that goes into it. There's dining plans, where to stay, where to go each day. Regardless of what there is to do there's a lot that goes into any kind of Walt Disney World trip, regardless if it's 2 days or, 14. But the travel agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel are here to help you plan that trip. Remember, they're a fee-free agency. That means they're going to spend all the time to help you plan that trip, figure out the best options for you, and the best part, you don't get charged for it. Disney pays their commission, not you. So that way, you get to get all the benefits of someone who's been to Walt Disney World many, many times and can share their advice with you, and you don't have to pay for it. How great is that? Check them out right now at www.mousefantravel.com.
Bringing the world to your world, this is Walt Disney World Today. Here are Mike Scopa, Len Testa, Mike Newell, and your host, Matt Hochberg.
It's Wednesday, March 9th, 2011, and this is episode 847 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Mike Scopa, a senior feature writer and blogger for allears.now. Welcome, Mike.
Please stand before exiting.
The Mexico ride, whatever it's called now.
Nah, wrong park.
Magic Kingdom?
Or as they say in the Midwest, wrong park.
No,
Way to alienate those people from Ohio.
the rest of the world says it that way. Only New England says pack.
Park. Wrong. Well, it's still the wrong park.
Any ideas, Noel?
Is that Magic Kingdom?
Wrong park.
That goes my idea.
I got nothing. What is it, Scopa?
It is really funny. It's actually what you hear when Primeval World stops.
Ooh.
Wow. Dude, that's cheating when you pick an Animal Kingdom one.
But it's only I remember it when I was writing it in the morning, so it still counts.
Okay.
First hour, by the way.
Before 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Welcome to the show, Mike.
Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, depending on whatever time you're listening.
And good night.
And good night.
It's Wednesday. We're answering your listener questions. We'll start a question from Josh Quillen, who writes, in episode 836, you guys had a question about Crazy Larry. And in fact, Crazy Larry is the voice of Lenny as well as the voice of Roger in Roger Rabbit. His name is
That's what I
Charles
said.
Fleischer. He's actually a very nice guy if you get to meet him. P.S. He's also the old man in the future in Back to the Future 2 who gives Marty the idea to buy the almanac, and he's the doctor in the original Nightmare on Elm Street.
I had said that, and somebody wrote and said I was wrong. I knew it was him.
I remember him. Yep.
Because you saw him in the video in Space Mountain. You actually saw him.
Come
It wasn't
Mike.
like he was a
You
Muppet or
his
something.
Crazy Larry voice.
I gotta work it up. It's Crazy Larry here.
That's great.
I love Crazy Larry.
Next email is from Mr. Voice. Calling
Hey!
again. And I tried to bury this email as much as I could, but unfortunately it came up.
He's gonna find out.
I actually got a chance to meet Mr. Voice finally for the first time in the park.
Did you
Very
really?
nice. Mr. Voice here, and first I'd like to say it was nice meeting Matt during our recent trip to Walt Disney World, even if none of us could figure out who that celebrity they were taking pictures of at the studios actually was.
Who was it?
It was some guy from Celebrity Fit Club.
The doctor?
Yeah, Dr. Smith, I think is it.
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah. We couldn't figure it out. We had to Google it on the spot.
Google it. Google it.
Scopa having a stroke?
I don't know what's going on over there.
Mr. Voice writes, I'd like to remind the listeners of how valuable just one annual pass can be. My parents are going to the world with another branch of the family in late March, but still hadn't booked their hotel by mid-February. That meant all the discounts were gone except annual pass discounts. They're staying one night at the boardwalk, then 7 nights at Port Orleans French Quarter. By buying one annual pass and one 8-day park hopper instead of two 8-day park hoppers, they save $480. That's even with the extra cost of the annual pass, and that's before all the money they'll be saving by purchasing tables in Wonderland. So make sure you or your travel agent prices out an annual pass discount, assuming one is available.
Ooh.
Scobie, you're big on the annual pass for people to get it in terms of the benefits it gets you.
Well, I think if you have a piece of paper in front of you and you start listing what you're going to do on your vacation and how much it's going to cost you without your annual pass and how much it would cost you with your annual pass, I think that it begins to justify the cost, especially if you're going down for at least 7 to 10 days. If you're going for 7 days, I think it really begins to pay off for itself. And I think that over the years, we've often figured out that the payback is if you go at least 10 or 11 times a year. But I think with the savings that you can now realize, I think that you might be able to bring that down to eight days a year now.
Cool. Next email is from Nora T. of New Fairfield, Connecticut. I never knew about the Le Cellier increase on the dining plan until I started listening to the WW Today podcast. I told my husband about it and we agreed to do a late lunch, 2:45 p.m. We opted against dinner since we have 2 kids under 5 and Disney's raising the dinner plan to 2 credits per person by the time we arrive. So I noticed quickly while working out the math to see if we should scale back the dining plan to the quick service that there are 2 lunch menus for adults, 1 regular menu, 1 fixed price. Which menu applies to the dining plan? What would you recommend we order? We don't want a big heavy meal. We're going in August and we all know how hot that'll be. Any recommendations would be appreciated. Newell, you were just at Le Cellier. There's a regular menu and a fixed price menu?
I didn't see that.
They're saying this for lunch, so I'm not sure. I don't know if you were there for lunch or dinner.
I was there at dinner.
No.
I'm checking now that they're talking dinner or lunch. They're
lunch.
Talking.
While you're checking that, Mike Scopa, Mike Newell, what would you recommend to them since you've been there like 3 times in the past several times with your of having all your different friends and join you and being stood up by AJ from the Disney Food Blog, might I add?
Well, I didn't want to bring that up. It's still
I did it for you. I got your back, Mike.
It's still painful to me.
So, what would you recommend, Mike? What's good on the menu these days?
I don't know. They changed the menu though, didn't they?
I don't. Last one I'm looking at September.
No, there was one that recently came out. Hold on.
Well, I mean, based on what you had, Mike, what did you like?
I got the Scopa. I went with the Scopa Special, the cheese soup, the New York strip. It's a no-brainer over there.
Yeah. Do you think it's a heavy meal, Mike? Would you classify that as like a meal that you would feel like it's heavy, or would you recommend something else, perhaps?
I wouldn't say it was heavy, but I did skip dessert, so for me it was enough.
Okay. Scopa, what's the latest on the menu there?
Actually, within the last day or so, the Orlando Sentinel had a little story that said Chef Al Youngman has taken over the kitchen at Le Cellier. Youngman is no stranger to Epcot, blah, 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 blah. Youngman's new menu includes artisan spicy chicken and chipotle sausage with roasted corn polenta, black and blue beef steak tartare. Yeah, that's going to go over well. Grilled jumbo asparagus gratin with hollandaise and seared cod with braised oxtail ravioli, shiitake mushrooms, bok choy, and consomme. I don't know where he's getting these. Doesn't sound like something you'd order from a Canadian restaurant. But it does. There's nothing to do with. I don't see anything to do with
the dining plan or fixed price.
The dining plan or prices. I'm going to keep looking.
Yeah. Well, if any of our listeners have any information, be sure to send it to questions@wwtoday.com so we have a answer to that. Next email is from Steve Pope, who writes, listen to your podcast about reader surveys and went to touringplans.com to tell the full results. I noticed for the overall rankings in food courts, no resort got higher than a C, and the average looks to be a low C to a high D. What are your suggestions to overall improvement to the food courts? I assume most people want more selection and lower price, but what are realistic expectations for improvement? If they did a free continental breakfast, like you find at chains like Holiday Inn, do you think scores would go up? Does it come down to the price they are charging is the biggest issue with the low scores? What do you guys think? How would you improve the food courts at the various Disney resorts? I was gonna say actually, maybe the better question to start out with is the price the issue, or is there more to the scenario here than just price?
I think you have to have the happy marriage of a decent price and decent quality, Matt. And I think you also need to have think you need to have diversified menus so that you can cater to all tastes. And that also includes having enough on the menu that the kids would like, because kids can be very picky about their diet. So I think that you need to have that. And I think that food courts, depending upon where you are, the entrees or whatever should be probably between $12 and maybe $14 and no more than that when you're talking lunch or dinner.
Yeah, I mean, this is really, the food courts, I think, is where really the homogenization of food at Walt Disney World is really the worst example of it. I mean, really, the bottom line is all the food courts have the same bland, boring menus, the same boring food, and they're all overpriced, of course. And the issue for me is you need to have a wider selection, duh. But it also needs to be good food. It can't be the same boring burgers, the same like the breakfast menu, I'm sure is all, there's an egg, there's some pancakes, and they're all, the eggs are the mass produced, disgusting eggs that nobody actually ever likes. You know, those runny, eggs that kind of come, when they first come out on they're in a huge tray, and they're like a brick, you know what I mean? And they just cut up the brick and give you a slice of the brick of eggs. You know, they need to, how about actually cracking some eggs and making eggs that way? How about actually not making your waffles or pancakes out of a mix, but actually, making them from scratch? I know it might actually cost an extra 50 cents to do this, but you know what? It's worth it because people might actually be happy about it. I mean, these results that in Touring Plans survey, this is an old episode, I forget which episode we were talking about that, but if you really want to improve the quality, don't just get a shipment in from factory B that sends the same food everywhere. Just, take some pride in the food that these resorts are serving, because inevitably the decisions I think people make about where to stay is based on these things. People think we want to stay at, it doesn't matter which resort X, and they might say, well, the food over there wasn't really good. And that could definitely play into it. I think that's why a lot more and more people choose to stay at deluxe resorts. Not, the price is higher, but typically I think the food tends to be a little bit better. Noel, what about you? What's your thoughts on improving the resort counter service menus?
To me, I mean, since I stay DVC, I don't spend a lot of time at the resort food courts. But that being said, the food courts to me have seemed to go the same route as the stores and become very generic. Yep. Whereas each resort used to have, resort specific items in their stores. It'd be nice to see that in the food courts. Whereas if you stay at, I almost said Dixie Landings, but if you stay at, at Riverside, it'd be nice to see some real Southern, kind of food. I mean, I know they have the grits and stuff like that, but I mean, real Louisiana style food would kind of be nice. Something different. I mean, you can have your burgers and fries and hot dogs. I get that. That's fine. But maybe one or two signature dishes that are, exclusive to the area in which the resort is themed after.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, they fall back on the crutch, and it's like, I don't know. Do better than that. I think we all kind of gave some good answers there for how they could improve that. And of course, the price needs to be, reasonable. Let's not get crazy with some of these prices that we're charging for the food that we're getting. Next email is from Courtney from Montgomery, Alabama. My family has our first trip to the world scheduled for October 9th through 15th. The traveling party will be with myself, my husband, our 4-year-old son, and 2 friends with their 7-year-old daughter. My question is about cameras. I love to take pictures with my DSLR camera and would love to carry it around with me all day in the parks. Is this practical considering how bulky DSLRs are and the rides we may be going on throughout the day? Do all the rides have lockers which I can store my camera in? If not, which they don't. If not, would it be better to stash my camera in a locker at the front of the park until I need it? I would be interested in hearing what everyone on the show has to say about larger electronics and how they fit into the parks for a full day of touring attractions. Thanks for the help. Love the unofficial guide and the show. I even already have lines installed on my phone so that I can use the chat function. You guys are doing a spectacular job.
I think that Mike has some experience lugging those big camcorders around.
Mike used to bring those camcorders that were like the shoulder missile launchers.
They're like TV broadcast
bazookas,
cameras.
Yeah. I used to.
What do you think, Scopa?
I think that bringing your camera and putting it in a locker just kind of defeats the purpose. I think you have to make choices. I think that you have to be aware of those attractions that could possibly wreak havoc with your with your camera. Splash Mountain comes to mind. Unless you come with some kind of a special camera case that is well padded, that is waterproof. You need to be careful when you are going on any attraction that's going to jostle you or whatever. If you can hold on to your camera and your camera pack, and that's going to help. But I think that every park's going to have at least 1 or 2 attractions that are going to make you think twice about bringing a real expensive camera onto it. I think that they make the cameras well enough that they can withstand a lot, but you never know. So
I mean, I have a DSLR now. I joined the little fan club there, and I love it. I bring it. I mean, I go quite often with it. I mean, it's bulky and stuff like that. But get a good case for it. And what I would recommend is actually just bring the essentials. I know that you can buy like an ungodly amount of lenses and filters and all these different great things, but unless you want to be like Tom Bricker out there and carry a backpack full of stuff, bring like a good padded case like Mike Scopa just recommended. Put the camera in there. Bring maybe one other lens that you could reasonably protect, and I think you'll be okay. Because obviously putting in the locker is a bad idea because it'll never get used. Because what are you gonna do? You're at Pirates of the Caribbean. It's time for the photo. Hang on, guys. I gotta go back to the front of the park and get it out of the camera out of the locker. It'll never happen. So just get a good case. Just one that's padded. And there's some great ones out there. Amazon has a bunch, and I'm sure you could do some Googling. Google it, and find a good option for you. And I think that'll be your best bet. And I think Mike's right. There are like probably 1 or 2 attractions in every park that you say, ooh, don't want to bring the DSLR on. But, I think I brought them on those rides, Tower of Terror, Dinosaur I just cry on. But, they'll survive as long as you just, make sure you're holding them tight. Sometimes like on a ride like Rock and Roller Coaster, put the loop through your leg so you're making sure it's not going to go anywhere. You'll be fine. Next email is from Craig from the UK, from Disney Brit. I have to smile at your airfare episode. You have to feel for us British guys. 9 hours flight, peak holiday time can cost over $1,000 each, and that's pounds. So for a family of 4, that's $5,600, as in bucks. Unfortunately, we can't drive unless there's an aqueduct. And don't get us started on the price of our gas. We're at $8 per gallon. Oh, the joys of the United Kingdom. But on the plus side, we have... Actually, there's very little plus side. I'm now sad. Anyways, enough of my whining. I have sussed it. Well, I don't know. What does sussed it mean?
That's a British term, probably.
British term.
How do you spell it, Matt? How do you spell it?
Sussed. I got to ask Andy about that. Take the Disney Magic from Barcelona over to Port Canaveral, and at least you get a great trip over there. How much does that cost, Annette? It's a good. Well, it's a good point about but there's so many international, especially British nationals, and of course people from Brazil. I guess even regardless of how much airfare has cost over the years, they still come in droves. Now, mind you, they do stay longer. They'll do like the fortnight, 14 days or something like that. But yeah, your guys' airfare is crazy too.
Matt, sussed means well informed or aware.
Oh, thank you. Scopa, you did some research on the back at Le Cellier real quick, right?
Yeah, kind of interesting. I don't know how much of the menu has changed, but there's something very interesting. They're now offering something called the Le Cellier Experience. And let me give you an idea what that is. So you can have that for either lunch or you can have it for dinner. What would you guys like to hear, the dinner or the lunch one?
We'll do the lunch one because it's relevant to the person who has sent in the email.
Okay, so it's $29.99 per person, and you get to choose an appetizer, an entree, and a dessert.
$29.99 for all three.
For all three. An appetizer you choose from is the green salad, the cheddar cheese soup, the spicy chicken, and chipotle sausage. The entrees you choose, this is kind of interesting. The entrees are the salmon BLT, the grilled steak salad, the porcini mushroom ravioli, the Caesar salad with the grilled chicken, shaved prime rib sandwich on toasted ciabatta. So it sounds like it's like a sandwich kind of a thing. And then the dessert is the creme brulee, the chocolate mousse, or the sorbet.
Yeah, it's like soup and salad kind of thing. Or soup and sandwich, I should say.
But the Scopa special at lunchtime would be, the whole thing would probably be $35, probably be about $40 for lunch. And for dinner, it's probably going to be Well, the New York strip now goes up to $42.
That's crazy.
It's a 12 ounce. They used to be a 10. Now it's a 12 ounce. It's 42, and the soup, a bowl of the soup is $7 now.
Well, $29.99 for soup, a sandwich, or a salad in some cases, and a dessert. It's still too much in my estimation.
For lunch,
Probably
yeah.
better off doing the La Celia experience. They have it for nighttime for dinner, and it's $36.99. But it looks like you've got better entrees to choose from. So for an extra $7, it might be worth doing the dinner one.
Mike, do you think they're pricing themselves right out of the whole game?
I think so. I think there's going to be a bunch of people who are going to say, "I don't care, I'm on vacation," but for someone who's been there a lot, I don't think that they're offering anything that is unique that I would not find. Like you and I know, we both had the strip steak is now becoming pretty good almost everywhere now in Walt Disney World. I mean, Kona has a very good one.
Right.
There's a whole bunch of that. I used to go there for this. I used to go there for the greens, and they used to have the shaved sweet potatoes, and I used to go there for the soup, and I used to go there for the strip steak. It's not worth $50 for me.
Well, that's my point. I mean, I could probably get the same steak over at Schuler's or Shula's.
Thanks, Scopa.
Sorry. I could probably get a really good steak over at Shula's for something that's comparable, at least.
Yachtsman's pretty much, you're in Yachtsman territory there with a $46 steak.
And like Mike said, over at Kona, they make a teriyaki steak that's fabulous. I mean, and that's a fraction of that price.
I think the what they're really doing here with Le Cellier is that, I mean, it had obviously an crazy popularity, right? It was just like off the wall, like everyone always wanted to eat there and possibly get an ADR. So they said, well, this is simple. I mean, either two things are going to happen. We're going to raise prices. Either two things are going to happen. One, we're going to make a truckload of money. Or two, people are going to stop making a lot of ADRs there, and it'll kind of even itself out and give people, more opportunity to be able to eat here. So, better guest satisfaction, maybe. And at the same time, we'll still make, gangbuster money on it. So
the most expensive thing on the menu is the Wild Pacific King salmon. It's Wild Pacific King salmon with parsnip puree, braised kale, grainy mustard sauce, and parsnip chips, and it's $44.
I don't know. That's dinner?
Them's expensive eating.
I don't know. Maybe once, but that's slowly becoming less and less on my schedule of things that I want to do.
Yeah, it's going
Now, I'll tell you though, I look at this. There's no way that I would use the dining plan for this. There's no way that this stuff is worth two.
No.
Two credits.
I have to be honest. I really don't think so. I would probably go there and just use my Tables of Wonderland and probably make out better doing it that way.
Yeah, it's going the way of Cinderella's Royal Table. It was the same thing. People couldn't get an ADR for Cinderella's Royal Table there because it was so crazy, and they kept on bumping up the price, and as the price increased, the demand decreased. And maybe that's what they're going for. They're just going for like a normal amount of demand, where something that's a little more manageable, and to allow perhaps for more walk-ups or whatever. But
well, they had to do something.
Mission accomplished, because no one want, less and less people are going to want to eat there now.
That's sad.
Yeah, it is. Next email is from John Kazlauskas of Los Angeles, California.
Sorry, John.
Johnny K.
That's right. Listening to a recent listener episode question, I heard a lot of people asking questions about the Walt Disney World marathon and half marathons, where to stay, getting to the start line, etc. Having froze my butt off, that is to say, run the 2010 race, with my sister and best friends this past January, I wanted to offer one bit of wisdom when people are thinking about where to stay. We opted to use Disney Vacation Club points and stay in Bay Lake Tower the night before the race. It seemed like a no-brainer. We'd be on the monorail, have a kitchen to cook our favorite pre-race dinner, and then get to enjoy all the brand new stuff that the resort has to offer. We tried to sleep early, around 9 p.m., I think, because of the ungodly marathon start time. You had to be on the monorail by 4 a.m. But none of us could sleep. We tossed, turned, grunted, and complained until one by one we drifted to sleep. What seemed like a few seconds later, I heard a noise. Could that be the alarm already? No. It was the electric water pageant snaking its way past the Contemporary, waking us all up. While I think under most circumstances I would have loved to have watched the show on this but on this particular night, I hope that it would hit by a rock and sink. You don't realize how long that parade is until you try to sleep through it. So just keep something be aware of. If you're ever trying to go to sleep early in any of the rooms with the views of the electric water pageant, thanks for all you guys do. Keep up the good work.
That's pretty funny.
So there you go. Some good advice right there. Next email is from Kent Jordan. Hello, team. Love the show. Long-time listener, first-time emailer. This is Ken from South Bend, Indiana. We're driving to the Walt Disney World the first week of August, and we'll be staying at Wilderness Lodge for the first time. I was wondering your opinions on which parks are must-drive-tos. We've used the bus system, and I don't want to drive every day since we're driving down. Thanks for all of your hard work and all your advice. They will be duly noted. So, which parks of the four would you say are must-drive-tos, meaning you must drive a car, and which would you say you could take the bus?
Magic Kingdom is a bus trip.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you, Mike. It's Magic Kingdom for the bus. The rest, drive yourself.
Yeah, Epcot definitely is a drive. Studios is a drive, and Animal Kingdom.
Definitely Animal Kingdom.
Yeah.
Yep. Good, we're all in agreement. Questions from Michael from Los Angeles, California. If there's one thing Mike Scope and I have in common, it's our golden set of pipes. So I gotta ask, is there a good karaoke night bar at the World? I once heard the Swan or Dolphin hosted a karaoke night. Is that still around? Any good spots off property? Keep up the good work, and when we meet next to karaoke, the tequila is on Len. Can't wait for Newell and Hotchberg's rendition of A Whole New World.
Does he say pack too?
He's from LA, so they have that Doritos California accent.
Doritos.
So I think he's talking about kimonos.
Kimonos,
right?
yep.
Yeah, I think so, man. Yeah.
Yeah, kimonos is evidently a big hit with a lot of people who love karaoke. I know that my friend Sarah Connor, it's obligatory.
Never gets old.
Loves that bar. That's a good bar to do karaoke. Are there any other bars in Walt Disney World where you can do karaoke? I can't think of any on Disney World property.
What about is it Dueling Pianos next to
Yeah, on Boardwalk you're talking about?
Yeah.
At Jelly Rolls?
Jelly Rolls, yeah.
Do they have
Yeah, but I don't think that's
karaoke?
karaoke. I think it's them. It's Dueling Pianos, just like you said.
Okay.
I did say I've been to a karaoke bar at Universal at City Walk. I went there with Bob Sellinger. I don't remember the name of it. It was pretty good, as I recall. I mean, as far as karaoke bars go. Very large, high capacity. It's at City Walk. I wish I had the name. I'm sure someone will mention the name in the show notes, and thank you in advance for whoever that person is. That wasn't bad. And of course, City Walk's a nice area to go to anyway. So if you're into karaoke, I think Kimonos is a great choice. And if you were interested in going to City Walk anyway, perhaps that place, whose name I don't remember, would be a good option as well. All right, time for our last question of the day, and that means I'll give Mr. Newell 3 emails to choose from. He'll choose one to be read today. The other 2 go back into the email queue to be answered later, and in most cases, much later.
Much later.
You ready, Mike?
Yeah, I'm feeling lucky tonight. Let's see what we got.
Your options are Solo question, not Han Solo.
Oh, I had such a good joke and forget it.
The last question you'll have to read soon. Soon being in quotes. And where did I go wrong?
Oh, wow. Good choice tonight. I love a where did I go wrong question.
Last email today is from Barry Labs. There's 2 A's, so Labs. Of Kenosha, Wisconsin. First off, I'm sorry for Len and his Steelers losing the Super Bowl, but thrilled because my Packers won. I called into the live show about where to watch the game when I was at Disney World, but I ended up watching the game in our room with my family. I guess the ESPN Club had a line at 7 a.m. to get in.
Oh, yeah, I saw pictures of it. It was not pretty.
Yeah, not at all. Now to my question about my recent trip to Disney World and what I could have done differently in regards to getting a rental car. We were originally scheduled to go from February 2nd through February 10th. But due to Groundhog Blizzard Day that hit Wisconsin, our flight was canceled. We couldn't get a flight to Orlando until Friday, February 4th. So our parents, who are Disney Vacation Club members, were already at Disney World, were able to get us an extra night on the end of our trip, so we were able to come back on the 11th. But we would have to move from the Beach Club Villas to the Boardwalk Villas for our last night. Our parents took the rental car back with them when they left on February 8th, so we were on our own for transportation the last 3 days of our trip. We were fine with Disney transportation for 2 days, but weren't sure what to do when we had to check out to the Beach Club on the 10th. What we ended up doing was renting a car at the Alamo Car Care Center on Thursday morning. This accomplished several things for us. One, we were able to put our luggage in the car when we checked out at the beach club instead of having to take it over to the boardwalk, either on our own or relying on Disney to get it over there, and storing it there until we were able to check in. And we were able to get to the Orlando International Airport with ease on Friday morning for our 9:55 a.m. flight back to Milwaukee instead of having to check in our bags and be ready for Magical Express at 6:30 in the morning, which would have been a bit difficult with our 4-year-old daughter. The big negative was that we paid $100 for the rental car for one day. I'm guessing it was so expensive because it was a Jeep Patriot and we were doing a one-way rental from Disney and then dropping off at the airport. Was there anything else I could have done differently to make things a bit cheaper or easier on us?
He didn't say if he used the code or anything like that, right?
Yeah, it sounded like he just like called up like, I would like to have a rental car, sir.
Like a rack rate, yeah.
Here's the worst rate we can give you.
Yeah.
Code would have been good. I believe on Priceline now they do one ways. They didn't do it for a long time, but I believe my mother actually used it the other day. And she mentioned to me that they have now one ways, so that's option. Definitely use Priceline. They do a lot of the rental car companies do charge you extra for one-way rentals.
Yep.
There's usually a fee associated with them. I want to say it's either Avis or Budget doesn't. I want to say it's Avis. But I think like the rates are end up being higher. It's kind of a wash. And the one-way thing is always what's going to kill you the most.
The only problem with that is there's no Avis or Budget on property.
There are not on property, but they are at the downtown Disney hotels.
Right, but you have to get.
You have to get there.
Right.
Yeah. Although I will say that both Avis and I know Avis for sure. I should say for sure. Hertz, of course, will come pick you up. That's their. Well, Enterprise will come pick you up, but Hertz. I know. I have a friend, actually, one of our friends, Josh. You know Josh, Mike. He works for Hertz. He still works for Hertz.
Yeah, Josh
and they
Hertz.
actually will pick you up as well. So that's something to keep in mind. Scope, any advice here for Barry how he could have done things better?
This past January, I had to rent a car on the same day, and I got one for $50. I think that if you are constantly using the same company, and if you are a member of their club, I think that you do get a break. But if you don't get a break, if you're not a member of like the club or whatever, or a frequent user or whatever, I don't think you're going to get any kind of a break. I think it just comes down to, it's one of those things where the company kind of scrambles to get you a car, and you're paying through the nose.
Yeah, I mean, obviously shopping around would make a few phone calls instead of just going for your go-to company. You can pull up Mouse Savers on any iPhone or any smart device, Droid, whatever it may be. Don't settle necessarily for that option. And of course, if it's going to be over, like, what I would have done in your situation is I would have had Disney pay for my, not pay for it, but I would have had Disney transfer my luggage from Resort A to Resort B. I know it would take them probably the better part of all day, but it's not like you're being in the parks anyway. What do you care? And then what I would have done for the trip from your resort back to the airport, assuming you don't want to take Magical Express, which I totally get. Trust me, the 3-hour window is ridiculous. I would go for a cab. It would have been cheaper than the $100 whatever you paid for the rental car. So, or car service, whatever it may be, and then you could have a much better service and save some money. Well, that's it for us today. I want to thank our sponsor, MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. And hey, these questions that we're talking about, rental cars, where to stay, where to eat, is option A better than option B? All these questions are great, and we love to answer them. But sometimes you just need that personal service. You need someone to go walk through these aspects of your trip with you, and the travel agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel can help you do just that. They can be your sounding board. They can be like, I was thinking about eating Le Cellier, but the price increase, I'm not sure about it. What do you think about restaurant X, whatever it may be? Give me some pros and cons, and they can actually go through with them. These travel agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel have experience with nearly every aspect of Walt Disney World, and they can help you plan that trip. Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com. If you want to find all our episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments, you can visit us online at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.